Good morning, world. Cece here. Most people spend a lot of time worrying about what might be taken from them. Their money, opportunities, their peace, maybe their time, their relationships. And yes, there are people in this world who will absolutely take advantage of you. That's real. But maybe the bigger question is, what are we stealing from ourselves? Because honestly, a lot of people, including myself, aren't losing their future because somebody stole it from them. They're slowly giving it away themselves through fear, procrastination, resentment, self-doubt, overthinking, staying emotionally stuck, waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. And the scary part is, most of the time we don't even realize we're doing it. We think, I'll start later, I'll heal later, I'll enjoy life later, I'll become who I want to be later, when this is done or that is done. Meanwhile, life is happening right now. And some of us have been saying, I'll start Monday since 2014. Yes, guilty. I say that jokingly, but there's truth in it. Because one of the biggest things we steal from ourselves is time. Not just clock time, emotional time, mental energy, peace, possibility. And eventually those repeated emotional patterns start shaping who we become. There's a quote I've heard in different forms over the years that basically says this: if you want a glimpse of what your life may look like in 5 years, look at what you're doing repeatedly today. And honestly, I think that applies emotionally too. Because eventually we all have to ask ourselves, does this emotion really belong in my future? Does this resentment belong in my future? Does this fear belong in my future? Does this constant self-doubt belong in my future? Hey, when I asked myself these questions, I scared myself a little bit because it's very powerful. Because some emotions are meant to visit us, not move in permanently. And I think a lot of us unknowingly rehearse emotional states so often that they start becoming part of our identity. And yes, I'm going to beat a dead horse and keep saying the same things again. Because we do. We replay the old conversations, the pain, the failures, the betrayals over and over again. And eventually we stop asking, is this actually helping me? Or is it just serving me emotionally in some way? We just keep carrying it because it's familiar. And familiar is powerful, even when it hurts us. Science has actually discovered that the heart has its own network of neurons that communicate with the brain. Not anywhere near the complexity of the brain itself, but enough to show how connected our emotional and physical systems really are. Your body is constantly responding to the emotional state you repeatedly live in. And I think we underestimate how much emotional rehearsal shapes our lives. We all rehearse fear and anger and victimhood. I lived in victimhood for several years after 2018. And so often that it quietly becomes our future. And again, not because we're weak or broken, but because whatever we repeatedly practice emotionally starts feeling normal. And listen, I'm not about blaming people for trauma or difficult experiences. I've had enough of my own. Life hurts sometimes. People hurt us. Things happen. But eventually there has to come a point where we gently ask ourselves, why am I still practicing in my own suffering? And folks, that's not judgment, that's awareness. Again, healing isn't pretending pain never happened. Healing is deciding, I don't want to keep building my future from this emotional place anymore. And I think that's one of the biggest things people steal from themselves is joy. Not because joy isn't available, because they postpone it. They think, I'll be happy when I lose weight. Oh, that's my big one. Or I make the money, or find the relationship, or fix everything, or become perfect. Woo, check, 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 check. Meanwhile, life keeps passing by while they wait for permission to enjoy it. I used to think peace would come after I finally got everything figured out. Now, I think peace comes more from learning what no longer deserves permanent residence in my brain. And for me, that's growth, not perfection. And maybe that's the real point of all this, not becoming endlessly positive, not pretending life is easy, not ignoring reality, but becoming more conscious about what we continue to practice emotionally. Because eventually, our repeated thoughts become patterns. Our patterns become habits, and our habits become our identity. And that shapes the direction of our lives. So maybe today, instead of worrying about who might steal from you, ask yourself, what am I unintentionally taking away from myself? My peace? My confidence? My joy? My ability to move forward? So I'll ask it again. Does this emotional state belong in the future I actually want to create for myself? Because you deserve more than survival mode. You deserve a future that isn't constantly being built from old pain. As always, friends, take care of your mind, and the rest has a better chance of falling into place. Until next time, this is Cece, and this is Cece Talks Live, real talk, real life.